You hear it all the time, right? The next big thing is always just around the corner. But what if it wasn't some new app or social platform, but the actual glasses on your face? Today, we're digging into a device that claims to be exactly that, a physical gateway to a whole new kind of internet. So, let's see what that actually means. And that's a pretty bold question, isn't it? We're not just talking about glasses that show you a few notifications or let you snap a quick picture. No, the idea here is way, way bigger. A device that's designed from the ground up to be our main window into an entirely new internet.
Okay, so to really get what these glasses are all about, we first have to wrap our heads around the world they're actually built for. And that concept is called Web 4.
So what in the world is Web 4? All right, think about the internet we use every day. That's Web 2. It's kind of like a city where just a handful of giant skyscrapers, the big tech companies, own everything. They control how everything flows. Web 4's goal is to tear that down and rebuild the city as a massive network of smaller connected buildings where no single company is in charge. That's the decentralization part. Then, imagine that city has AI built right into the very streets, helping everyone create and get around way more effectively, not just inside one company's walls. The whole point is to finally give us, the users, the keys to our own digital homes.
Okay, but a fancy new digital world doesn't mean much if you don't have a way to actually get there, right? And that right there is where this new piece of hardware comes in. Let's take a closer look at these LR glasses, the so-called gateway to Web 4.
So what's under the hood here? What makes these things tick? Well, first up, you've got the optics. We're talking high-fidelity lenses, good enough for professional-level photos and videos. You got to capture the real world beautifully. But then, and this is crucial, you have the brain, an onboard AI that can create and manipulate media in real time. And finally, the connection. The whole thing is built from the ground up to seamlessly plug into that decentralized Linkspreed network we were just talking about.
With any new hardware, especially something this ambitious, the big question is always, can they actually build it well? Well, the team behind this dropped a super direct quote in their latest update. The quality is perfect. It's short, sweet, but it's a huge statement, right? They're basically saying, don't worry, the physical product is every bit as good as the vision.
And that confidence isn't just talk, because it lines up with this huge milestone that just hit. The project is officially out of the R&D phase. It's not just a blueprint anymore. The very first production units have landed from the manufacturers, they've been tested, and they are working. This is that moment where an idea becomes a real thing you can actually hold.
Okay, so the tech is here. But who is it actually for? Who are the first people they expect to jump through this new gateway?
While they're really zeroing in on 3 key groups to start. First, you've got your content creators. Imagine using that onboard AI to create stuff on the fly and share it instantly, completely skipping the usual big platforms. Then, of course, they're the Web 4 enthusiasts. I mean, that's the home crowd, right? The people who already get it and are hungry for this. And last but not least, the tech pioneers. Those folks who are always hunting for the next big thing after the smartphone.
Now, this slide right here gets to the absolute core of why they think this is so important. The old way, the way we do things now, has us kind of trapped on these huge platforms that control our data, our content, everything. The new way they're proposing is all about achieving something called digital sovereignty. And that's just a way of saying you get to have direct ownership and control over your own digital identity and the stuff you create. No middleman.
Look, a big vision is great, but without a plan, it's just a dream. So they've laid out a pretty clear roadmap for the first quarter of 2026 to show everyone they're serious about making this happen. So the plan for early 2026 really breaks down into 3 key steps. It kicks off right at the start of the quarter with hardware deployment, just getting the glasses into the hands of those first users. Then, midway through, the focus pivots to software, building out all the social networking features that will actually bring these glasses to life. And to wrap it all up, by the end of the quarter, they're planning live showcases to prove to the world that all the pieces, the hardware, the AI, the network, it all actually works together like they promised.
All right, let's zoom out for a second. What does this whole project really mean for the company that's building it? Because it's pretty clear this isn't just some side project.
So the company pulling the strings here is Linkspreed, founded by Mark Herdina. You have to understand, their entire mission is built around this exact combination: wearables, AI, and decentralized networks. So for them, based out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, this isn't just another product. It's the whole point. It's what everything has been leading up to.
And this quote from inside the company, wow, it says everything you need to know. Smart glasses are no longer a future project. They are now the core business. Think about that. For them, this hardware arriving marks a total shift. It's not a someday idea anymore. It is the main event.
Their next massive challenge is making sure that Web 4 infrastructure is big enough and strong enough to support it all. They are all in.
Which, brings us back to that huge question from the beginning. Is this it? Is a device that mashes up advanced optics, an onboard AI brain, and a whole new kind of internet, is that really the future of how we'll live our digital lives? Honestly, it's way too early to tell for sure. But one thing is clear. The gateway is now officially open, and it's just waiting for the first pioneers to step through.